helping you all to put it. So, was it a democratic process or was it an authoritarian process?
Not yet so clear.
Huh? Or was it first come first serve, free market type process?
Yeah.
Huh?
First come first serve.
First come first serve, alright. First come first serve. Who's faster, he will get the place again. So I'm letting you, because there are a lot of people who are ready to present, and so I'm letting you all to decide who present first. So let you all enjoy the process of democracy, right? So it's like democracy is a way of letting you all fight each other. And then you can form alliances, and then and then you can different parties and fight each other. Different parties fight each other. Yeah. So I think you have a few more people who line up. I'm not sure whether so today is who's
Today, Yufeng and
Jimin. Okay.
tomorrow have as well.
Okay. So I'm not sure who was first to request for the presentation. I think Kailai was among the few that were first as well.
I'm ready.
You're ready too? Okay, so so you all, when you decide on the who's next, right? You might want to ask that question: who was the first? Who's not the first? But I think you're all adult enough to decide, and I let you all, fight each other. So maybe Hani can create a system of who requested first.
The head of parliament.
Huh?
The head of parliament has Hanif. So you are prime minister.
He's the prime minister. Yeah. You see, that's why there are only two types of prime ministers. One who is power hungry, the other one is crazy. I'm not sure which one is higher. The one who was crazy enough to hold on to power.
Maybe I will decide also based on the urgency.
Okay, that's very good. I like that.
So, a feeling about
I like that. So
Let those who have more urgent.
Very
much time here.
So you're creating a system, first come first serve. But then there's an exception based on that. Okay, see how democratic institution will be on that. Rationality there, right? So there's a logic and then we are building institutional logic. Then we have the institutional theory at work there. So we have, first come first serve unless it's urgent. Okay, so we have that. Good principle, that's why Hanif makes a good mayor. He's a mayor. Right? We call him the mayor of China.
Last time he led this is a delegation, Indonesian delegation. Yeah, they came from Jakarta. Right, Jakarta?
He also joined.
You went there?
I'm just follower.
Okay.
I follow Hanif. He is my boss.
Okay. Did you talk to them as well?
Yeah, I joined with them to Qatar.
Jakarta.
We went to Qatar.
Kedah.
Kulim.
Sounded like Qatar to me. Hey, Lanmin, you went back home to China or what? Lanmin, 你回去中国了啦？哇！哎，Lanmin.
Maybe he's scared from the sun. For the sun.
The sun. Okay, it's too hot for him. Anyways, so we're going to start today. So, who's presenting? Yefeng has Jimin. Okay, let me take my. Oh, there's some food here for you all. Some hui. Delicacy. Thank you. Where's the kettle, by the way? I think the kettle's over here, right? That's the kettle. Anyways. Right, there's a kettle here. No. Oh, it's
Pot.
Last time it's here.
Pot.
Heat up.
Keyboard, hotpot. Hotpot, you know hotpot? You know hotpot?
Electric kettle.
You know hotpot? You don't know hotpot? She's Chinese or no? She's Chinese?
Chinese, yeah.
Yes, you don't know
It's okay
hotpot?
lah, Hanif. If you all need, you.
Yes.
Oh, then you can have it.
To boil water. To boil water.
You know hotpot is food? It's Chinese?
Yeah.
Yeah, hotpot.
火锅啊，
那就是火锅，火锅。
Wow.
So the kettle is both.
I think we need a bigger dash.
In the bigger dash. Oh, there, yes, yeah, mantap. Come. Oh, hi, Jane. There's another one. Okay, I just move there and then you move there. Come. By the way, Jane can sing.
Yeah, James can sing.
And then Hanif can.
Hi, hello.
Hanif can play the guitar, Jane can sing. Okay, now it's always getting late, so we got to get. Yefeng, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. The floor is yours.
Can you start?
Yeah. Get someone comfortable and get a little space here. There. All right. See? Mine is better than. See, I have this one. You don't have that.
看色。
Now I am academic. Yeah. When I,
Yefeng, I'm ready.
I'm casual. When I take off, I'm casual.
My topic is double reduction policy, Chinese parents' paradigms in Hebei, China. Today, I will mainly report the framework content of the 3 chapters. So I need I want to get your guidance. First, chapter 1, introduction. This part divided 5 parts. First, next stage, introduction. Introduction to the background of China's double reduction policy. The Chinese government recognizes the importance of parental involvement in reducing student burden. The role transformation of Chinese parents in the history of reducing burden in China. The main work done by Hebei province in implementing the double reduction policy. Response of parents in Hebei province to the double reduction policy. This is my preliminary idea for this part, introduction. Next, problem statement. Current research mainly focuses on policy background, content analysis, implementation, suggested countermeasures, and the parents' attitudes and perceptions of the policy. This study finds that parents' reactions to the double reduction policy constitute a social phenomenon that requires more in-depth and systematic qualitative analysis. As current research has not fully explored parents' understanding and related behaviors. Therefore, 2 years after the implementation of the double reduction policy, using the adaptive research strategy, this research aims to study the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of parents in Hebei province regarding this policy. Next page, thank you. This is my research questions. Next.
But go through it. Actually, the most important part of it.
Yeah.
I need to read.
Yeah.
Research questions. What are the parents' paradigms of thoughts and emotions in relation to double reduction policy? What are the parents' paradigms of behaviors in relation to the double reduction policy? What are the emerging typologies of the parents' paradigms? Next page. Thank you. Research objectives are to examine the parents' paradigms of thoughts and emotions in relation to double reduction policy, to analyze the parents' paradigms of behaviors in relation to the double reduction policy, to develop the emerging typologies of the parents' paradigms. Next page. This is the significance of the study. First, parents are critical educational participants. Parents' thought, emotion, and behavior patterns play a crucial role in understanding the effect of policy implementation. Therefore, this study will conduct in-depth research on the parents' paradigm and provide a new perspective to understand the impact of the double reduction policy. Second, this study will be the first to be conducted in Hebei province. The impact of local context on policy implementation can be better understood by conducting research in specific geographic and cultural context. Finally, the findings of this study will provide valuable insights for future policy making. By gaining insight into parental responses, policymakers can more accurately assess how healthy policies are being implemented and how parents accept them. This will help to optimize policies, better meet the needs of parents and students, and achieve educational equity and quality improvement. Next page. This is chapter 2, literature review. It's divided into 4 parts. First, next please. Introduction. Introduce the main content of this chapter from the perspective of social psychology, defining parental thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Sort out relevant literature on the dual reduction policy. Sort out relevant literature on parents and double reduction policies. Comparing policies on reducing student burden in different countries. And next page.
So the third one, this is a dual dictor or double?
Yeah, I made a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, good one.
This is the definition.
Yeah, Utadi is developing. I think the skill of error detection is good.
Thank you.
After a while, you develop that skill. Yeah.
The double reduction policy definition. On July 24, 2021, the General Office of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China and the General Office of the State Council issued the opinions on further reducing the burden of homework and extracurricular training on students in the compulsory education stage. The proposal of this policy highlights China's strategic goal of rejuvenating the country through science and education, focusing on the fundamental task of fostering people with virtue. The double reduction policy mainly aims to reduce 2 aspects. First, to reduce the excessive homework burden on students, reducing quantity without reducing quality, and at the same time, to improve the level of after-school services in schools and meet different needs of students. Second, to reduce the burden of extracurricular training on students, especially the burden of subject-based training, and strictly govern extracurricular tutoring institutions, regulate unreasonable extracurricular training behaviors, highlight the main provision of school education, improve school quality, and make education return to its true nature. Next page. Thoughts. In social psychology, within this study, thoughts are defined as an individual's cognitive responses to their environment. This encompasses beliefs, attitudes, and perceptions. Parents' understanding, cognition, and ideas about the double reduction policy. This includes their views on policy objectives, implementation methods, impacts, etc. Next page. Emotion. In social psychology, relate to individuals' affective responses to specific stimuli or situations. This includes feelings such as happiness, anger, fear, and frustration. Specifically, this study will delve into parents' emotional reactions and feelings toward the double reduction policy, including happy, sad, and depressed about the policy implementation. Behavior in social psychology, as addressed in this study, refer to the observable actions of an individual in response to internal or external stimuli. This can range from verbal expressions to physical actions. For the purpose of this study on the double reduction policy, the focus will be on how parents support their child's education at home, how they cooperate with the implementation of the policy, how they adjust their education methods, and how they communicate with both schools and other parents. Next page. Double reduction policy, literature review. First, background. I will first show the burden reduction policy history. This from the other researchers' view. The history is divided into six distinct phases. Do I need to read this?
Emphasizing.
Go
Okay,
ahead, everything you want to.
I can read.
6 distinct phases, okay? Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah,
Phases.
The first stage, from paying attention to students' physical health to emphasizing academic burden reduction at the school level. The second stage, aiming to relieve the pressure of.
What's that? Okay, what is it? Then one day, okay, all right. Sorry, okay.
Entering higher education burden reduction. The third stage, consensus on promoting comprehensive reform burden reduction. The fourth stage, burden reduction based on basic education curriculum reform. The fifth stage, aiming to develop students' core competencies, burden reduction. The sixth stage, implementing the double reduction policy and implement the fundamental task of cultivating people with moral integrity. Next page.
怎么了？还在弄电影。Next page.
Okay.
We don't have order.
Parents and the.
It's okay.
Is this the one or the previous one?
上一页。Last page.
Next page.
Yeah. This page. Parents and the double reduction policy. I plan to write these two aspects, source and emotional response, and behavioral changes. Next, international perspective and comparative analysis. I plan to write the South Korea, United States, Japan, Singapore, these countries' policies. I plan to write the 4 aspects. One, policy research on reducing academic workload. 2, research reflecting academic workload in extracurricular tutoring. 3, research related to homework. 4, parental nurturing anxiety. Chapter 3, research methodology. 5 parts. 1, the first, introduction. briefly outline the research methods, explain why they were chosen, describe how they achieve the research objectives. Then I will introduce the adaptive research strategy from 9 paths.
It's a bit too fast. Go back there. Yeah.
First, strategy introduction, then theoretical basis, ARS contents, researchers and social actors' behavior, ARS principle, 4 stages, 12 steps, related research, application research. Next page, please. Purposive sampling. First, I will write the definition of the purposive sampling, and then I will tell the reason. This study needs to deeply explore the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of parents in Hebei province, China, under the double reduction policy, which requires in-depth research on parents with certain background knowledge and experiments. Through purposive sampling, this study can more accurately select a sample of eligible parents to better understand and analyze the concepts and behaviors, as well as the impact of policies on them. According to the research objectives, this study will select 40 parents from different school stages and school types and collect relevant information on parents' thoughts, emotions, and behaviors on the policy. Next page, please. Next page, please.
Malaysia is a
Data sources and data collection. First, I will show the reasons for choosing Hebei province, and then in Hebei province, this study will interview about 40 parents of primary and junior middle school, grades 1 to 9 students, using semi-structured interviews with open-ended questions for a period of 6 months, focusing on the perception of the policy and the experience of the education, which were stated in their own words in terms of the way they understood the concept of participation in children's development. The semi-structured interviews in this study involve conversation between 2 parties, that is between the researchers and the parents, with one specific purpose, namely to understand the policy's influence to the parents. Following the information saturation principle, when the information obtained during the interview is found to be repeated and no new important topics appear, the interview will not continue. The interview process includes 3 parts: pre-interview, developing the interview online, and formal interview. Next page. This is the interview online. First, I will record the parents and children's basic information. Parents' basic information includes gender, monthly family income, occupation, education, urban and rural areas. Children's basic information includes gender, whether the only child or not, grade family order, achievement level, high, medium, low, school types, for example, public, private, international, or other. Interview outline, these questions are divided into 4 parts. Understanding the double reduction policy. These questions, which parts of the policy do you know better? What was your interpretation of the policy? Do you support this policy? Why? Emotional reaction. During the implementation of the double reduction policy, what were your main emotional reactions? How do you interpret the emotions? How has your emotions changed since the policy was implemented? Why? Next page. behavioral response. What was your interpretation of education behaviors to the policy? How does the policy affect your educational behaviors? What is the reason for these behaviors? Expectations and suggestions. What problems do you think exist in implementing the policy? Why? Do you have any suggestions to implement the policy better? What are your expectations for future education policies? If this is my question, do I need to list this table? Policy contents it's all about student leisure time arrangement, homework burden, learning pressure, parent-child relationship, off-campus training burden, after-school service quality. And then I will ask the parents the questions about the interpretation, emotional reaction, behavioral response, parents' comments and suggestions, parents' expectations and concerns. Next page. Data analysis. Each interview lasted for 1 to 2 hours, depending on the situation. Interviews were transcribed and used to create categories and to index or record documents, to sort data in order to detect patterns and generate typology. Statements from informats were identified for clarity. However, the original intent and meaning was maintained. Again, after categories and subcategories were developed, each transcription was subsequently revised several times for clarity. The interviews and field notes were analyzed with the help of NVivo to establish categories, to locate patterns, and to generate typologies of parents' response to the policy. Based on the 4 stages and the 12 practical steps of ARS, construct typologies or theory of parents' response to the policy. Next page. These 4 key steps. Entering social actors' world and capturing the knowledge and meanings. Social actors' everyday concepts, first-order constructs. Technical interpretation, second-order constructs, and a theory building. This is the 12 steps from our doctors of the sociology 社会科学学院怎么说来着？旁边的邻居 is the researcher and our daughters.
Super Science and Faculty.
His paper.
Examiner.
To practically accomplish these 4 stages, the ARS further lists 12 steps in generating typologies start with a general formulation of the problem to be studied. Relevant literature is reviewed, even though its relevance is very hard to ascertain at that stage. Therefore, this task proceeded in parallel with the field work. Entering the social world with some sensitizing concepts as a guide, but being as non-directive as possible. Identify the concepts and the categories that are used in the discussion of the topic, especially those that keep recurring in the conversations. Explore the meaning of these concepts and categories. This continues throughout the study. Next page. refine and narrow the problem, become part of the social actors' world by regular involvement with them, record all comments and behavior that have associations with the central concepts, test the concepts and the categories that are identified in social actors with other social actors. Search relevant literature for ideas about how the social actors' concepts and categories are used in social sciences. Check their relevance and usefulness. This continues until typologies of social actors are established. Present the typologies to the social actors to establish their validity. Next page. The preliminary idea of this paper. First, collect the data through the pre-interview, formal interview, and then analyze the data, preliminary analysis, genus analysis, and then through 4 steps or 12 steps to construct the theory, and then get the research results. In this process, I'm not sure if I need to test the validity. And at the last, I will get the research conclusion. Okay, that's my presentation. Thank you all.
Okay, wow, right, that's good, that's good. How long was the presentation?
1 month.
Huh?
1 month. 他问啥？
做了多长时间？刚才是讲的那种。
用了多长时间？我没有。20 minutes.
That's good, yeah. Alright, that's a very good insight into what you have done for the first 3 chapters. I do have a number of comments here. Where are we now? Oh, Anton is here. Oh, there's Raji, right, Bible? All right. I do have some inputs to share with you all in general, but I'll get to that point later on in just a minute because it has to do with SEMPRIs and CPR. Right? Okay, Yefeng, this is. I'm happy to see that you're moving fast with your write-up, with your research. So, can I? There are a couple of things. One, some are minor, some are more important, more substantive input that I'm going to share with you. Right. So, I'm going to look at kind of slide by slide. Basis and give my comment on the basis of the slide. Your 1.1, can we go to your 1 point? Okay. Yeah. 1.1 of the following one. Yeah, that's introduction. Yeah, your introduction. Okay. One thing you want to make sure is that your since this looks to me like not a complete statement, right?
Yeah.
No, it's just okay. Alright, it's basically kind of like extended heading, not the full statement, right? Not full sentence, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A preliminary idea.
A preliminary idea. Okay. Just want to understand that because I have question about whether it is full statement or not. Alright. Okay. So if you are doing this in the presentation, you will want to explain it a bit more, not just reading it, right? Because it sounds like you're presenting the whole sentence, right? But this is not a full sentence, right? So it is a bit weird just to read kind of a incomplete statement or sentence. So it's like introduction to the background of China's double reduction policy. Then the Chinese government What is it that the Chinese government recognizes the importance of? So that's a complete sentence. Yeah. But the next one, I think the role of transformation of Chinese parents in the history of reducing burden in China. That's not a complete sentence, right? The previous one is a complete sentence. So in your presentation, if you read line by line like this, it sounds a bit awkward or weird. So if you do this, right, you want to explain, or what you do is that you have a small, shorter phrases instead of long phrases. Like these are like long phrases, shorter phrases, right? But then you make your own notes, and you can, refer to your notes and to explain. You know what I mean? So otherwise, I would look at this and then
I don't know how to write this part, introduction. I don't know.
All right. So introduction to background. So you say introduction. So the first one, introduction to background of China's double reduction. So it will be something like background to China's double reduction policy, right? That would be the heading or the subheading. So you said, my introduction, I will explain the background to China's double reduction policy. And then the second one, the Chinese government recognizes the importance of parental involvement. Then the importance of parental involvement, yeah, you have the right, you highlighted the right one there, importance involvement, right? So and then you explain it. You can have a separate piece of note or piece of paper writing your notes, and then you can read those notes while referring to the headings, right? You look puzzled. You understand what I'm saying? So the one you show on the slide are shorter phrases or just keywords, and you just explain the keywords. But if you find it hard to explain, you write that explanation and then read the one that you have written on a piece of paper. And so what comes out there should be either small or short headings, and then but when you explain, you need to explain longer. Otherwise, this one some sounds like a complete sentence. Some of these are not complete sentences. Just somewhere if you read just only these notes they have on the slide. Okay.
I show my keywords.
Yeah, just your keywords.
Short version.
Just the keywords. Yeah, that would be better actually. The keywords. But when you read, you can always refer to some. So you have the keywords, and you can look at your own notes and explain the keywords. But it should not be too long. Just one sentence. If you know, right?
Okay.
A general rule of thumb, a general guide is that one slide, no more than 3 minutes. General guide. So if you think about it, if you have 20 minutes, you basically have about 6 to 7 slides, right? More or less. Right? Okay. If it's 20 minutes, right? If it's one slide, it's 3 minutes, plus minus. So you have about 6 to 7 slides. Okay, so that's point number one, but this is just a presentation point, otherwise you look a bit weird or feel a bit weird. Okay, next is about your research question and research objectives. Alright, this is where it's something I'm going to say is relevant to all of you, since Sains has refocused itself to CPR, meaning Center for Policy Research, right? So there's an emphasis on policy, right? So as much as possible, but yours is definitely on policy. So as much as possible, the research that you conduct will need to have a policy dimension in your analysis, right? Either policy recommendation or actual policy analysis, right? So in your case, Yefeng, you actually have policy analysis, right? The only thing is that what CPR likes you all to do is actually to have policy analysis in the research itself. So in the research question or research objective, there should be something on to analyze, to examine the policy on, in your case, double reduction, and to identify the gaps in the policy. You know what I mean? So in your case, it would be the entrepreneurship policy, right? I mean, you all recognize who that is?
No.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is all your friends here, yeah.
Oh, not enough.
Then, ladies and gentlemen, this is Sun Hao.
Hello.
Right, Kak, we'll need to grab a chair. Jonathan, you need to take over Hanif's
The slides, okay.
scrolling up, right? Thank you, Jonathan. Come have a seat, Sun Hao. Here, you can sit there, right? And Hanif is helping out there. So you're back here for the Spring Festival or?
Spring Festival.
Okay, you're here for the Spring Festival. Okay, right. Okay. Remember Sun Hao, right? In our group, right. Okay. So Yifeng has just presented 3 chapter slides. So I'm giving feedback. So just sit in and just be comfortable. All right. So in your research questions, research objectives, right? As much as possible, have a dimension on policy analysis. So what is the policy on, in your case, what is the policy on, Hanif is helping out you great.
Okay.
So, right. So now go ahead, that. Okay. So in your case, so thank you, Jonathan.
Okay. Maybe you can move. I can sit.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Pak Rudi is making space for you.
Yeah, you can sit
there.
right.
No, can't. So you're part of the family too. Yes, please. So in your case, it can be something like this, right? What is the current policy on double reduction, right? And what are the policy gaps in the current policy on and what is its policy gap? So you're not just looking at the policy, you're looking at policy gaps, right? So how do you know what the policy gaps are? You can know it from your research as well, right? So the parents will say there's a problem with this, implementation is about that, right? So eventually, remember, you actually one of the significance of the study. If you move, I think we could move to the significance of the study. Right?
Next.
Down? Yeah. Put on my Tom Cruise. Where do you say, there, policy making, you have that, right, good. Finally, the findings of this study will provide valuable insights for future policy making, which is good. By gaining insight into parental responses, policymakers can more accurately assess how healthy policies are being implemented and how policies accept them, right? So there, right? You actually have that, right? So it's actually instead of just significance, it becomes part of your research objective, right? To identify what the problems or strengths of the policy, or what are the gaps of the policy, right? So the policy will have certain strengths and weaknesses, right? By asking the parents, from the perspective of parents, what are the policies are, so you can actually improve the policy.
So I need to add a question.
That's right. That will be my recommendation too, right? So for all of you, this is the relevant input that I want to share you all. So since we are focusing more on policy, even more than before, right? So they want to have a policy dimension in your research. Yeah, which means either it is part of your research question or research objectives, right? Or in the discussion section, there should be a stronger discussion on policy recommendation,
Yeah.
right? Or implication of policy, right? So like Hanif, you'll be about the CLC, the policy. I think it's a relevant one on that one. So you will look at
Educational policy.
educational policy, Indonesian or Malaysian or binational, something like that. So some will be easy to identify, like UFL will be easy, like the year will be easy, and there will be some a bit more fundamental type research should be harder, like Pak Rudy, I think it'll be harder because, so when are we talking about identity formulation and how does it connect to policy, but then you need to use a bit more imagination. Or Raj's case where we talk about Perantau, right? Mutadi will be, yours is easy to connect. Well, yours is about policy in many different levels there, right? Yours is too many policies. Too many people making too many policies.
I will give some to
Give some to Rajan. Right. Okay, where are we now? Now, since we are talking about policy, right? Somebody is talking something.
It's not too late for me, right? Policy.
It is not. It's not too late. It's not too late.
It's not too late.
Because oh, by the way, have you received anything from IPS that you can submit yet? Mutadi has received. By the way, I'll talk to you about yours.
Thank you.
You have received, right?
No, I haven't received.
You haven't received. The IPS so like Mutadi, IPS has communicated with him that he can submit. It's clear to submit, right?
Congratulations.
So Chang, you haven't received yet. Okay, I'll tell you about Mutadi's situation so that, I think Chang, you have the same situation, but we were rectified. The issue with Mutadi's thesis is that your thesis is highly complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is highly complex. It's more complex than a lot of many of my the students. I mean, so it's not easy to get an examiner.
Yeah.
So the process of examiner selection, go through many layers. So there's sample layer and there's also the IPS layer. So they disagree to have one of your examiner. So we have to drop the examiner, right? But we rectified it. So now we have a different examiner. So they have agreed. So now it's clear.
No.
So now it's clear. So it's not easy, right?
Yeah.
I think
We wait 7 months, right?
Huh?
7 months we wait.
yeah, it's not. I told you it's about the examiner.
Yeah.
Was the problem last time? So I think Chang, you have the same. Huh? What's that?
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Because you said that we need to add research questions that include policy aspect. For example, for this research, we need to add what are the policy about this program or maybe policy transformation, which is this research closely with my research too, the more smaller about perspective about how paradigm is, which is more smaller, and policy is more bigger, more level. The development analysis will be impact on the theory also.
So so now, very good point. There's different levels of analysis of policy, right? It can be as small as organizational policy, right? Organizational. It can be, the highest will be constitution, which is law, right? This is the highest level of policy, which is law. So the easiest one for you all to do is policy recommendation, right? That will be the easiest one, right? So policy recommendation, so it is not part of your research question, but it's part of your research discussion at the end. That said, the CPR wants you as much as possible to include the policy analysis in your research itself, right? So it could be as simple as analyzing the policy and to look at the strengths and the weaknesses of the policy, and I will talk about the policy gap in a while. I will give you a bit of a brief explanation of the policy gap, right? The strengths and weaknesses and the gaps of the policy. So it is not a kind of you could do a general kind of analysis of the policy. You look at the policy, so the policy emphasizes on 3 different things, 1, 2, 3, something like that. And then when you have your findings, you reconnect to the policy, like you have a finding, you say, well, there's a problem with the parents who will need help but cannot get help because of the double reduction policy, because some of the children still need extra help even after school because the school doesn't provide enough attention or enough education, or because there are different types of school. There's good school, bad school, private school.
Requirements is different.
Yeah? Requirements are different, so the parents will have anxiety and all that. So you can use that to feedback, to bring it back into the loop of policy improvement, to how to improve the policy based on your findings, right? So, which is what significance, by the way, right? Now I'm going to do a bit of explanation, but this is a digression, but I think might be important to you all. So, I probably should use the whiteboard. Or maybe don't, I'm just going to talk next time I use the whiteboard. Because I don't want to move that much. So, one way to look at policy analysis or policy gaps, right, is to have a three-dimensional analysis, okay? So, the first dimension of the gap is the policy formulation. How is the policy being formulated, right? Is there stakeholders engagement? Is there, a good stakeholders engagement? Or is it completely top-down, right? We have a problem with students having a lot of workload. Let's reduce the workload. One guy decides to come up with a policy. Or is there an engagement process? They talk to different parents, they talk to teachers, they talk to experts, they talk to students, and the formulation goes through a process of engagement, evaluation of the policy. So one is the formulation of the policy. So you can look at the gaps in the formulation, or the strengths and weaknesses of the formulation, how the policy is being made, right? So there's one gap. The other gap has to do with the policy itself. So the policy might have A, B, C, right? But you see, well, there's also D, E, F, right? So there's a weakness in the policy. So like CSR, for instance, right? Jane, you're doing CSR, right? Okay, so CSR, Kyla, you're also going back to CSR, right? Instead of Tuja. When Tuja is you, so you should name papers, okay. CSR. So the CSR, for instance, they look the CSR of this group of companies or the case study you're looking at, only look at community development, only look at workplace CSR, only look at environmental CSR, but they do not look at product CSR, for instance, right? Product responsibility, right? So there's a gap in the policy statement, for instance. So the second one has to do with the components of the policy. So what is lacking in the policy itself? So that is so at the very least, when you do policy analysis, you can look at the policy statement itself. So the policy usually have, one whole page or 2 pages or 3 pages. You can see, well, what is wrong with this policy? What is right about this policy? The scope of this policy, So when you look at the policy gap, right? You look at what's missing in the policy in terms of its gaps, in terms of its scope, in terms of its dimension, in terms of the depth of analysis of the policy. Is it general enough? Can it be operationalized into indicators? Right? Can it be measured? Right? So that will be what the policy itself, right? The components of policy. So like I said, some policy have A, B, C, but then you say, well, this policy should have also D, E, F, right? So you identify the D, E, F as being gaps, A, B, C being the strength, for instance, right? So that is the second dimension. The third dimension of policy evaluation has to do with implementation of the policy. So you have a good policy, right? But how are you implementing the policy? Is there a problem with the implementation of the policy, right? Is there machinery? Is there institution to implement the policy? Is the institution implementing the policy, implementing it well, right? Is there gaps in the implementation? So that's the other part of policy analysis, right? So you can go all three, or you can say you just want to see one, which is the thematic, the content of the policy. Right? So, and I told you just now, for you all that find it hard to really bring policy into your research or research questions, right? At the very least, have policy in your policy recommendation. Right? But I think many of you could bring it in, right? Could bring it in into your research. So if not, if you can bring it at a higher level, will be the second dimension which I talked about, which is looking at the content of the policy itself. What's wrong with the policy as far as the content of the policy, right? Understand what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to look far. You just look at the statement of the policy. You say the policy. This is the policy, right? The written policy. Right? Of course, the hard thing is called the unspoken policy, right? The informal policy, then is a different thing, right? Which actually exists, right? Things that is called social contract. This is like a policy, right? And Malaysia has that, by the way. Right? But you can say that the hidden or unspoken policy can also be a strength, because people interpret the policy differently, right? This group interpret this way, that group interpret this way, and then the policy fits with this group in this way, the policy fits with the other group the other way. Sometimes they have conflict, but the conflict can be managed, right? Well, it's okay, but because we have different views about the policy, right? And Malaysia is about almost like that as well.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
The definition of the policy, we are focused on the policy from the government or
From the government.
Okay.
But if you're analyzing the organization,
not the company's policy, I mean, it's kind of huge.
yeah, so that's why I said there are many levels. The highest will be the constitution, but below the constitution there's laws, there's also what is it? Underneath the laws there's policy, right? Policy or plans. Right? Malaysia loves to have the 5-year plan and all that. Oh, you all have that plan too? Okay, yes.
10 years.
Yes. Oh, you have 10-year plan. We have 5 years plan, 4-year review plan, midterm plan, not every plan, this plan, that, every plan. Yes, yeah, we have good planners. Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, we have good planners. Implementers is a different story. So it's like Penang, right? We are surrounded by waters, But we have water problem, right?
For now, it's
Huh? Yeah, today, right, today.
still.
But you know, the government is smart right now. They know that people are complaining, right? So they tell you, we have problem for 2 days, and suddenly one day they can solve the problem.
Oh.
So, very good, very good.
A very good strategy for the public.
Good salesman, you know, very good salesman. I cannot fix your car. Your car is really problematic. It will take me 1 week to solve the problem of the car, to fix the problem. In 1 day they can solve the problem. Oh, I'm so happy, man.
Yeah, the lower expectation.
The lower expectation. It's called expectation management. So it's
Yeah, it's a kind of operation.
yeah.
strategy.
So welcome to Penang. the city that's surrounded by water, but we have water problem, right? So anyways, so now you look at USM outside at the car park at the masjid at the
Yeah, so many people.
we have a big tank there. Subaida has a big tank there. I buy like 5-6 different buckets of water at my home right now. And they say then buckets, they run out of buckets, then innovative ideas coming. You carry with boxes, with plastic bag.
Yeah.
Plastic bag, you carry that. So it's innovation there, creativity. So good. The island is surrounded by water, but we have water problem. The only solution is we pray to God that there's rain coming down.
Rain coming down.
And the good thing is,
Raining prayer.
huh? But we have many gods.
Yeah.
There's the Chinese God, the Malay God, the Hindus have the most gods, which is
Each
beautiful.
denomination pray for his
Can we
God.
pray for God? Just in case this God doesn't help you, the other God help you. This God doesn't help you. It's good. Right?
It's just going to be a
Yeah, every
long
God have a different view. You now, so they have no water problem.
You know that we have Taipusan, were you here? Yeah, right. Taipusan.
Last week.
The streets were crowded.
Very crowded.
Very crowded. Did you go out to see?
They put so many coconut.
We don't have water. just that day.
Oh,
Right, right.
the same day, right?
Yeah, same
So
thing.
it's like,
Because Taipusan, there's no water.
No.
but Taipusan they break the coconut.
Yeah, they put coconut, many coconut. on the road.
You got to break it. It's part of the ritual.
With
right?
what, bro? How to break? With
You
hand?
know,
or
just
with-
break it. That's karate. This is not karate. So, but that not all Hindus celebrate Taipusan. They are celebrating one particular Lord Murugan. Lord Murugan. So not all of India celebrates Taipusan.
Okay.
So and not all Hindus celebrate Taipusan. So only they, it's like, we have Zeus, we have Athenians, we have Thor, we have
So many.
like the Greeks have different gods, right?
Yeah,
So the
yeah,
Greeks
yeah.
have different gods. So it's just quite okay when I got the multiple god-centered country there. Highly religious. So coming back to the policy thing, so that is the point I want to note to you all. If you could bring in, when you could bring in, you bring it in. If the simplest one is to talk about policy recommendation, therefore it's not in your research question or research objective. But it is relevant in your research objective or research question, then bring in, right? So I think for Chimin as well, when you do your the Confucius angle, I think there might be something there on policy, but I'm not sure.
Something related to
Maybe.
Yes, of course. Of course you have, because the Chinese culture is not so far from Confucianism,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Especially the political ideology, political, the state of ideology. So it's not far, because it's still the Confucius supports the the state support the law, support the conservative situation.
Yes.
So this match between
Yes, yes.
both.
Yeah.
You can. Hire Chinese.
Yeah, it is consistent with the state ideology, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, that's the part that I want to. So the research question is the objective. You might want to work on that one. All right. So related to the idea of policy and findings, right? So eventually, you want to start using, and in your policy statement, can we go back to your presentation just now? The slide before the background. We go, and then we go to the background. Go down further, right? Go down further down. After introduction. Okay, alright, okay.
Where's the background?
Is there background there somewhere? Okay, the slide before the background. Right before the background. Go back there. Right there. I think this is where I saw it. There's something that I think you're referring to some Chinese philosophy or Chinese principle somewhere. Is there something there? Or I'm listening to things that I want to hear, but it's not there. I'm not sure.
In behavior.
Is it on behavior or something? On thoughts or behavior? About
I'm not sure how to define the behavior. Or do I need to define the parents' paradigm? I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll go back to that. Ask me again, right? Hold on to that. So the point I want to tell you that is this, that in the policy itself, right, oftentimes, right, I'm not sure, I might be wrong, right? In the Chinese policy making, there's a philosophy behind it, or some rationality behind it, right? Right. So, is there a philosophy behind it that's in Chinese, right? So you can put that in and explain it a bit, right? You understand what I'm saying?
学长哲学的。
它是中国的这个政策制定的时候，它本身可能后面会包含着一些哲学上面的这样的一个过程。说中国的这种政治哲学，或者说你制定政策背后，它应该有一种相应的这种一个规范。然后老师可能是想让你去针对于这种所谓的它的这个政策制定过程背后的这样的一种思想，可能要去探究一下。
Philosophy, what's philosophy?
哲学。对，sometimes just describe as 思想。It's just could be some kind of an ideology, science in this respect. Idea.
So example, right? What's his name again? After Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping. He said it doesn't matter what color is the cat. As long as the cat catches the mouse.
不管黑猫白猫抓到老鼠就是好猫。他想表述的是，正是基于领导人的这样的一种思想或者是表述之下，然后后面的政府部门开始制定相应的这样一种经济的规划和政策。
So what's the keywords? Behavior, emotion.
No, not behavior. I'm talking about the policy. The policy.
Just the policy.
Just the policy. The philosophy behind the policy. If there is some philosophy, I suspect there is a philosophy of Chinese policy.
你的 double reduction 的后面的 philosophy， 其实本质上面就是对于习近平主席的所谓的这样的一个指示的这样的一种回应。
If there is, I don't know.
所以他的这种哲学的思维，其实就是他后面包括习的这样的一种关于。
得从20大报告找了。
我不需要定义这个 thoughts, emotion, behavior， 我不需要。
需要，等一下。I'll come back to So wait, I want to talk about the policy first. So about the policy, maybe you could scroll down the phases of policy. I think there's something about phases of policy. Phase 1, phase 2, phase, there. Stage 1. Okay, remember this stage? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, right, stage 4, 6 stages of policy. And ultimately, it's about moral integrity. The 6th stage, implementing the double reduction policy, implement the fundamental task of cultivating people with moral.
早期的，这是 first stage, just going to be the single burden reduce.
Yeah, so
it's a difficult process. This kind of process, this kind of policy will just last for decades.
So whether ultimately, right, so the end desire or the whole purpose is to have this moral integrity. I don't know, right? So what was the thinking, and what behind the thinking? There might be philosophy of Chinese government or the policy itself, right? Like the Indonesian has the education policy. Yang di depan bagaimana, ini di samping. The in front does what, the far side. I've got the
Tuturi Handayani.
Tuturi Handayani.
Okay. Tuturi Handayani, right. Okay, there's an Indonesian education philosophy. You're in front, you do what, on the side, you do what, at the back, you do what, right? I'm not sure who's in front, who's at the back, but right. So there's an Indonesian philosophy of education, right? So there might be some philosophy of education here, the Chinese philosophy of education, in reference to this policy, right? If there is, then you capture it. If there's nothing, it's okay too. Right?
Do I need to write this part into the chapter 2?
Chapter 2, that's right.
Okay.
In the discussion on policy, right? And discussion of policy, because you're talking about the burden right reduction policy history. Right? This is interesting because it's important as well, because Chinese education believes in hard work, right? Mandarin's examination is basically founded by the Mandarin system. They tie their hair to the ceiling, right? Tie their hair to the ceiling, they don't sleep, right? And then they work. 学那个什么文言 This is Chinese education system. So the examination in the world, actually, thank you very much to China, right? We have the examination system. We take it from the term is the Mandarins, Quan, right? Mandarins. The word Mandarin is the Quan. So hard working is very important part of Chinese education. And suddenly they say, don't work that hard. Right? But double reduction meaning burden reduction. You're being burdened too much, right? Remove the burden, right? So this is like a shift in so there must be some philosophy that comes in. They say adjusting the thinking behind the Chinese education, you know, their work ethic or learning ethics. Because this is thousands of years, or maybe thousand, I don't know. The whole Mandarin system, right? I remember the Quan is so big in China, right? To do Quan. You got to memorize the classics, right? You got to memorize the 你们叫什么文言文对不对？不是文言文 ，the classics, the script, right? The classic, the literature.
圣有点像圣训，有点像。
它不是普通话，不是排
文言文。
文言文。对吗？文言文对文言文，那个the big man, the small man, the big man means something else, the small man means something else. Right. So I think it was Deepai or somebody else. wrote something to sing, and then the king was happy, but actually he was critiquing the king. The king doesn't know that he's king. Right? The emperor was not that smart. Right? The emperor was happy, but it's actually a social critic. So these are, the Chinese philosophy, almost like the Javanese as well. You do not criticize the Agong, the Raja, directly. You criticize it in a way that is very polite.
I don't think we can.
You can't even criticize.
If it's just someone just directly criticize, and maybe it could be cause some
Okay, or disappear. Okay, so that's the point I want to raise to you, right? Okay, now let's go to your behavior part first. Okay, let's go to your behavior part. The behavior, your thoughts, your emotions, right? So here, you asked me the question just now, do I need to define, how do I need to define, right? Remember, there's one thing, and this is true for those of you who are doing abductive research. Abductive research, in the literature, we discuss the concept that we want to analyze, but we do not go in and tell them what the definition is, right? So we do not define the concepts for the social actors. We actually understand what the concepts based on the literature, but this is based on the literature and existing or previous studies. This is not what the social actors define, how they define the terms. So you do not have to worry about how to define it. You just need to know how has it been defined by the previous literature or the existing literature. But when you go into the research, when you collect data, remember Kusama, right? Where's Salma? Kusama, the idea of bracketing, right? Meaning to remove your biases from the data collection, right? So you are actually employing the same rationality, the same epistemology in your research. You do not put in any type of biases in your research, because abductive research, just like what Rajesh is also doing there, we do not define for the social actors. We want the social actors to define what their thoughts are, what their emotions are, what their behaviors are. Okay?
You understand? Regine, help us.
What?
Translate. 听懂了一半儿。
是这样的，他说
Yeah, that's very
这个定性研究的这样的一个过程之中，你之前不是有这样的一个 definition 的部分吗 ？definition 的部分已经引用了，或者说已经成型了的这样的一些完成了的这样的一些解释，或者说前人的一些研究者的这样的一个解释。但是很多时候，你这一个定性的研究的过程之中，对于具体的这样的一些事物的这样的一个解释，要引用是你说的社会行动者 （social actors）。就是这样的一些家长，他们之中对于这个书的这样的一个解释，讲乱了。
那我的理解就是，你不需要在论文写作中做那个 definition， 就是写那个概念是什么。比如说跟大家介绍什么是归纳，那个什么是演绎 ，no need to make the definition because others have already have the， 其他人已经做了这个研究，你只需要就是间接的引用。就是比如说，之前有学者已经提到了 abductive， 然后是怎么应用的，然后文中也是介于词也是几句。我理解就是不需要。
对，我得明白到底这个想法、情绪、行为要不要界定？是。
The different questions.
我就问这个。
She want to ask whether she need to make the definition of the behavior, the
emotion, thoughts. Do I need?
Do you need to discuss them? Do you need to discuss? Yes, you need to discuss in the literature review.
Definition?
The definition.
The definition of it, and just because you just focus on the psychology, and you use this kind of psychology of objective words to describe the things you want.
So,
I'm speaking English.
Yeah.
So you two set different questions A professor asked you
Yeah.
about the research methodology.
Yeah, it's just about the research methodology. So you have to focus on the social actors' thoughts, their definition.
Yeah, so you only bring it in the literature review. You do not bring it in your interview. You don't have to define. So when they ask, suppose they ask, 你觉得怎样？你觉得这个 policy 什么 policy 政策？你觉得这个政策好不好？还是真正？你觉得怎样？and then 他们你就我的emotion
情绪。
感觉是什么意思？
感觉。
If they were to ask you what do you mean by 感觉 emotion, it's up to you how you define the emotion. You do not define emotion for them, right?
Because
you do not define thoughts. You do not define behaviors for them, right? But if you think there are things that you can ask more about the behaviors you ask. Right? So if you do not define the limits of behavior, they do not define the limits of thoughts, or the shape or the form of the types of thoughts. We do not define that. Yeah? This is when data collection, right? This is data collection. So, but in the literature review, you can discuss. You should discuss. Right? Right?
I thought the interview questions are related to the definition about the emotion, thoughts, behavior.
Okay, this is both the yes and no. The answer is yes and no. Yes, you can use concepts that you have found in the literature, right, as sensitizing concepts, not as a defining concept. So if they say if they say, let's say, what's your, you ask them, what's your response? Response is a behavior, right, to this policy, right? And they say, I have no response to this policy, right? Okay, I have no response to this policy. So you can say, your response to this policy is to do nothing, right? There's actually no response is a response, right? Well, I don't do nothing, but I just tell my students, I just tell my children to work harder, right? That's actually a response there, right? So for abductive research, I think you could do this well, by the way, because you are into counseling, right? Counseling has a lot of Socratic method. You ask until you get to the answer and deeper, right? So they said, well, I asked my children to study on their own. So that's actually a response. So you can ask, when they do not study, what do you do? Right? Or if they don't study, then I will lock them out in the bathroom. That's actually behavior there, right? Or if they don't study, I give them ice cream. You want ice cream? You study, right? You want 2 ice cream? 2 hours, right? So then you say, oh, then you incentivize. So the behavior you can incentivize. So sometimes in abductive research, not sometimes, many times, most of the time, right? Abductive research, you will need to do probing, right? Rajesh had this problem last time because the social actors might not answer might not give long answers to the question. They just give 2-word answer. So we need to be a skilled interviewer to get deeper and deeper to the definition of the social actors, the meanings they attach to a particular thing that you want to analyze, to the phenomenon, right?
So
question should be more specific and more detailed.
That's right, more detail. So just now Yefeng was asking, can I use concepts from the literature, right, to analyze? Can I use a definition? My answer is not the definition but the concepts. So the concepts can be used as sensitizing concept. So in phenomenology, in qualitative research, we use the term sensitizing concepts, where we do not, and for open-ended questions, right, we use sensitizing concept. Where we do not define the answer, we can probe them to think about possible answers. Right?
So I only need to write the policy definition. 只写一个就行了，定义。只写双减政策的定义，用哲学的角度。
That's in your literature review, not in your data collection.
他说在这个 interview 里面，你的那个问题要更加具体一点，就比如说给那个父母设定一个场景，让他根据这个场景去进行回答，就是可能不会说他的the answer is yes or no. This is not a good question, but if you say I give you 我给你一个冰淇淋，然后你愿不愿意就是让自己的孩子继续做作业啊什么的，就这种给他一个场景，让他去思考，去想一想他怎么回答下面的这个问题，应该是这样。他的就是问题要问的就让具体一点，可能是这样的。
肢体是 specific。
我就说这个 thoughts, emotion and behavior. I don't need to write this definition, but I only to write the policy definition, right?
Your policy definition is only for literature review, right? Not for data collection, right? So what? Yeah, because you're not doing deductive research. Deductive research, yes, you're testing a concept or theory or hypothesis, right? You're not doing deductive research, right? You're doing abductive research. So in abductive research, you're not testing the concept or hypothesis or theory. You're getting them to tell you what their thoughts are, their theories are, right? So that's it. So the definition only and the discussion of the definition only exists in the chapter 2, literature review. But you can also discuss it in chapter 3, which is methodology. But to show that you understand the different types of definitions of what you want to study, right? But you do not operationalize like a deductive research. You do not do that, right? Okay. So how are you okay sitting there? You're just listening there. Okay. Right. By the way, Sun Hao is a newscaster. Oh, you all have seen him in the news before?
On the internet.
In the WeChat.
Yeah.
Right. Are you still a newscaster, TV newscaster?
Oh,
Yeah.
not yet.
Xingwen.
Yeah.
Inductive. Not now.
Oh, no, okay. Now you're the boss.
No.
Yeah, you're the boss.
No. Now I'm the teacher.
Oh, teacher. Okay. So the people say those who can do, those who cannot teach.
Yeah.
Say that those who can do, those who cannot teach. So we all cannot. That's why we teach.
Oh.
So yeah. So the coaches don't have to be very fit, right? They can be fat and sitting there by the football field and oh, you do this. There's one coach in USM who's like that, you know. They sit there, he's usually 3 times better than me, right? Don't do run.
It's recording.
Huh? It's okay. but this coach, right, my son told me, he has trained state athletes. So you do not need to be, an athlete to be training an athlete. You can just be sitting there and then we'll do this, So that's the good thing about being a teacher. You don't have to do it. You tell others to do it.
Yeah, you can tell.
你现在做老师自己要做，但是个好事，不用做他们来做。
Yeah, that's good. Now, there are a couple more things here for okay. Is this before? Oh, okay. Oh, I wanted to say something about something else. Remember your assessor, Dr. Bok Wadim, right? Your assessor in your presentation. Was it you or somebody else?
Oh, I see.
Dr. Bok was yours? Your assessor? Muzakir? No, Muzakir. Dr. Bok Wadim. The lady assessor.
The 那个外 examiner，
the examiner, but
外省的那个女老师是吗？怎么了？
Okay. Her area is sociology of emotion.
Oh.
So this, so I remember her. She was my student last time, long time ago.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I told you.
I remember.
Yeah, many of them are my students. So from many of the examiners. I'm a very young lecturer. That's why I have a lot of. all my students have become lecturers too. So she was asking whether anyone is interested to know more about sociology of emotion. I think yours is connected to sociology of emotion, right? So in your literature review, you might want to look at sociology of emotion. How emotion, the construction of emotion. I know there's a psychology part to the emotion. There's also the sociology part of the emotion, right? And sociologists study emotions slightly differently from psychologists. But just to look into that one, sociology of emotions, which can be something quite revealing. Sociology of emotion, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, okay, let's get a look at that. Interesting lesson.
Quite new.
No, but yeah, so what would be interesting is that the psychologists will look at the inner workings, right? The sociologists will look at the condition, the construction of emotion, or the social construction of emotion, which is somewhat different. But I'm not quite an expert of sociology of emotion, but I kind of know a bit, but I might want to study on sociology of emotion as well, right? And what is it? There might be something that is useful for your research here, because the burden reduction. What is burden to one person might not be seen as burden to another person, right? So I remember when I took up my son from one school and I transferred to another school, because the previous school was not giving him enough burden. And this school is giving him good burden, but still not enough burden. Right? So what is burden is also defined differently, right? So it's not just about psychological feel to the burden, but it's also the social construction of the burden might be different, right? So example, I'll give you an example, and this is related to my friend last time, who is also a Chinese, right? So I went to study to a university in UK, London, right? So I have a Chinese friend. I was a PhD, doing my PhD. He was doing undergraduate, right? He's Malaysian, was studying political science. So seldom do we have Chinese Malaysians or Malaysian Chinese studying political science. Not many, right? Not many, right? Not many, right? And you say, why study political science? There's no use to study political science, right? Why is that? You want to become a politician, become businessman first, and then become politician. Political science. But he's a very smart student, so I asked him why. Son, his name is. Well, I said, because of work. No, his father, father is well-to-do, rich father, has a house in London, house in Los Angeles, house in Singapore, house in KL. I don't know how many houses he has. Right, so so well, his father said, well, whatever you study, go ahead and study whatever you study. But when you come back, you have, you run my company. I have a company to run. So he can study whatever he wants to study, right? So the burden of education is not important burden to the father's perspective.
Yeah.
It's not even a burden, right? It's not even a burden, right? So that's interesting, right? And I was looking at another TV series called Stranger Things. So you can study whatever you study, come back, I have a company for you to run, I have a factory there. You come back, become vice president, whatever, right? So it's a different perception of burden. This burden might be true for middle income family, right? It may be true. For upper income family, maybe not so true. Maybe not, right? Just now the one who came as the boss of the newspaper in Malaysia, right? The 3 newspapers under him, the Universiti Times and a few others, right? He didn't even go to university.
Yeah.
He did not even go to university. It's like
The heritage.
seconds. He just went through the process, like the old Japanese, like go from the bottom, goes up, and eventually. So there's that process as well. So what we define as burden might not be burden to somebody else, or for somebody else they want this burden, like me, right? For my son, right? Because the school is not giving him good burden.
If he wants burden, how about studying in China?
Yeah. So this is interesting, the construction, the social construction of a burden, right? And that's why another example. It's interesting, right? So the social construction of burden. So so another example, the course you all took, the POL 500, right? Before there was not this course, right? There's no course called POL 500. Like Mutadi did not go through it. Did you go through it? Oh, you did not go through POL 500. You did not take that course, right?
No.
Rajesh did not take Rajesh, right?
Yeah.
Methodology course.
Yeah, before COVID-19.
Yeah, there was no course. So the university, USM, decided to give the trust to teach the course to Sampris.
Oh!
Right? And I'm the first coordinator to teach this course, right? And I have like 600 to 700 students, all postgraduates, right? The non-science, the management, the social science, the arts, the communication, blah, 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 and all that. Remember, I taught you also, right? So I said, I tell the university, you call this a trust, right? Amanah, a social trust, right? A trust. I call it a burden. We trust Sampris and Dibani, you have taught methodology in social science. I was in social science before, school of social science before, right? I was a deputy dean there, so I taught this course before. So we trust you, we give you the trust. No, I said, you call it trust, I call it burden. Because I was enjoying my life here without having to teach 600-700 students. Now I have to teach 600-700 students. So thank God I'm no longer coordinator, we have passed the torch, which is good thing. So the term burden, right, is different for different groups of people, so, right? And education itself has different meaning too. Probably for the working family, they might see, well, whatever the government wants to do, we just do it, right? At the end, you'll come out and work in a factory. Or they'll say, or whatever you do, you come out and work in my farm, right? There'll be the concept in the developing country, right? Or it's just waste of time, you come and work, help father or help my little grocery store to run my grocery store, right? Grocery store? 杂货店, okay. Right, so, right, it depends on the family, it depends on the, there's a lot of social construction of the concept itself. So, this is what I'm relating to you about sociology of emotion there. So, burden is an emotional term, right? Burden is an emotional term. So, so what is a burden? What is not a burden? Right? You might want to ask that question too, right? Learning burden, you have homework burden, right? What's a burden? What's not a burden, right? Anyways, a couple more things I want to say before we go. Now it's already 50 minutes past 5. So this is the thing. I usually have a more deep supervision. I don't do shallow supervision, deep supervision. I'm not sure when you talk about the sampling just now, did you discuss why you choose Hebei? Right, you do need to have a discussion to justify why you choose Hebei as your. You cannot say because it's close to my house, or my grandmother stays there. You cannot say there, or it has very good. It costs too much to go elsewhere. You got to give a methodological justification. Why is it you're choosing this from a methodology point of view? Right? Is Hebei a reflection of representative province of China, or this is an example where, justify somehow, come up with some justification why you choose Hebei.
Yeah, I read this reason in chapter 3,
Right.
data collection.
Okay. So, yeah, this is the place to put the why. You want to explain why you choose this justification for Hebei, or which in your presentation you want to include that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true for all of you. The sampling needs to be explained. Okay. I want to tell you another thing. You use the word educational behavior. Is there somewhere there you talk?
I think so.
Educational.
Is it in your box? Yeah?
I thought.
There was a box, educational behavior, somewhere there. How does the policy affect your educational behaviors? So educational behaviors, then you're looking at the parents, right?
Yeah. I ask parents about these questions.
All right. So in English that doesn't sound right, because I'm not sure how do you define the educational behaviors of the parents. You're saying, how does this policy affect your behaviors towards education, or towards your children's education, maybe? Towards your children's education, yeah? Affect your behaviors towards your children's education, right? Not educational behavior. Right? But this is just an interview scheme or interview guide, right? So you just note that. The other one, I just want to go to the box there. Hanif, can you go to the box that Yefeng created, the box with right and left matrix? I probably should do that too, because I have back problems, my waist problem. I should do that too, yeah. Because I sit for too long sometimes. Strong sitting down power. The box, yeah, this is good. Yefeng, this is good. This is good. It's a good guide, right? It's a good guide. So those can be so this is the policy contents, right? So in your discussion, the policy contents can be your sensitizing concept, right? But you do not want to limit the sensitizing concepts to only the policy contents. You might want to think about other aspects of thoughts, behaviors, emotions in this side of things, right? This is coming from policy contents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do not want to limit just to this one, but this is good because you have the kind of framework, right? But this framework is not the limit of your data collection. It should be the sensitizing concept of your data collection. Otherwise, it looks like a deductive research. So you're only limiting the answers to this box. You're not boxing you're not boxing them. This should come after your data collection, right?
Oh.
You know what I mean? So you can ask the parents, students' leisure time arrangement. Tell me about your children's leisure time arrangement. You know, and they'll tell you da 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 da. So they will interpret it good. You say, and then you can go into emotion. You can go to the behavior. Sometimes they say this. I have mixed emotion, right? Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm not happy, sometimes I'm not sure what I feel. Right? So you have that. So this is when you create this. This looks like a box, right? So the examiner, when they look at this, it looks like it's a deductive research. But I understand this is a framework to analyze. Right? This is just a framework to analyze. The only part is, so you have the interpretation, which is the thoughts, right? You have the emotions, and then you have behavioral response. Now, remember, your second question is about the paradigm of the behaviors, right? Right? So the paradigm of behaviors consists of two parts. Right? One is the behavior itself. The other one is the meanings they attach to the behaviors. So, says, when I see my daughter doesn't play with Lego. You have Lego there? Lego set.
Lego.
Oh, Lego. Oh, okay. Lego, yeah. 乐高，开乐 cows. Okay. Okay, interesting.
I still play that.
Oh, you still play that, yeah. Oh yeah, you still play that? Okay. If I see your daughter playing with Lego set and not doing the homework, right? What do you do? You say, well, I incentivize you. I give you. You spend 1 hour studying, I give you an ice cream, right? So that's a behavioral response, a behavioral pattern, or eventually become a. So the incentivizing the incentives. So you have these parents will talk about different ways of incentivizing, different rewards they give, right? So all the different kinds of rewards, right? You also want to ask, what do you think when you give this reward? Right? So they have their behavior and what they think about their behavior as well. That will make your data collection on paradigm complete. So it's not just the behavioral, not just behavioral typology, it's the meanings that attach to the behavior. Right? So, okay.
Okay.
Right? So you remember that. So going back to the box there, and then can you go back to the box? Alright, so you have behavioral response here, right? Right. So there might also be another column to that, which is the meanings that attach to the behavior. Right, which is another column there. Right? Only thing is that this is something you want to show at the end process, not at the beginning process, right? But you can use those words as a way to probe, to ask the parents. Okay, so you do not want to show this at the beginning, you want to show this at the end. But you can use this as sensitizing concept, but you do not want to limit to only these 5 or 6 policy contents. There are more than that, right? So where do you get the sensitizing concepts? You get it from the literature as well. Okay. So, but it's good that you included this. My point is that this is good, right? Because you include the policy contents as one of your sensitizing concepts, and then you can relate back to the policy eventually, how to improve the policy. Right? That's good. So it's something good that you are doing this. Only thing is that you want to show this. You can say that this is your sensitizing concept. The box will come at the end. I mean, you can show it. You will say that your analysis will look somewhat like this, right? Something like this. Right? But it should be more than that. It should be more than that. Okay. And when you discuss your data analysis, and then we go to data analysis.
Sorry. Are these questions are enough? The 4 aspects questions. Last page. Last.
There's a 4 bit.
Yeah. These questions are enough.
How does it cause your what is the reason for this? Okay.
On the last page.
The last,
page.
This is the last page. Which one is the last page?
Yeah, this one.
This one is what? Emotion or what? Which one? So I need most.
All the questions.
All the questions. Okay. All right. Yes and no. This is again, you're doing abductive research, right? Abductive research, you can have the beginning question, but you do not know what the follow-up questions are.
Yeah.
So the probing part of your research is important. So you want to probe. So what you have in Rajiv's case last time was some of the respondents or informants give him just like a 2-word answer, Rajiv? Yes. Something like that. So Rajiv has the challenge of how can I analyze a 2-word response? There's not much to analyze. So that was a challenge. So you will need to dig further and further to help them with what we also call the taken for granted thoughts, things that they take for granted, right? Take for granted, what's take for granted? I don't know how to define it in Chinese now. Take for granted is this. I don't think about what shoes I'm going to wear, I just wear shoes, right? The shoes is there. So somebody asks me, why do you wear black shoes? That's the shoes I wear, you know. Why do you, we don't question whether we're going to put on clothes when we come here, right? We take for granted whether we want to put on clothes or not. We don't decide whether I want to go naked today or want to put clothes today. We don't decide that, right? It is a, you know what I'm saying?
理所当然，理所应当。take for granted.
We take for granted certain decisions in our life. It's a decision. We don't think about it anymore.
We don't think about it. We don't ask the question.
We don't ask questions.
Why
we don't ask? It's we consider it's natural. Whether we wear clothes or not, right? Whether we should wear clothes or not, we don't even question that. Of course, I wear clothes when I go out, right? I even wear clothes at home, right? I don't go naked. I go nude at home. No, unless you are naturalist or nudist or whatever, right? We don't question it anymore. So any behavior that is not questioned is a behavior that is taken for granted. So the abductive researcher, just like the phenomenologist, will look into behaviors that are taken for granted, right? And if that behavior is relevant to the research question, then you ask. Right. So there's some deep thinking because we are going into the consciousness of the social actors. And sometimes the social actors, they are not conscious of their own actions. Right. We got to get them to think about their actions. Right. So for instance, after exams, right? I will bring my children to eat in McDonald's because we want to help them. It's time to celebrate and all that, so we do that all the time, right? We've been doing that all the time. So it's a normal practice. We don't even think why we do it. Sometimes we even forget why we started doing it. So these are taken for granted behaviors.
约定俗成。
Okay.
Right. 约定俗成 is a 成语.
Good. I like 成语. I thought you all going to teach me one 成语 every time. 约定俗成.
Just the meaning you mentioned that it's very natural. we even don't know why
Right,
it's
right.
executed like this.
Yeah.
But actually, in sociology, we always consider everyone's behavior as not just game.
No.
That's right.
It looks like nature, but actually there are some
That's right.
things behind, right?
That's the difference between social scientists and scientists, right? Social scientists will say, well, things are socially constructed, right? We learn to drink this way, we learn to eat this way, we learn to speak this way, we learn to dress this way, we learn what normal is, right?
We just follow the social norm.
We just follow the social norm, or not following the social norm is itself a social norm, right? Like teenagers, they do not want to follow social norm because following the social norm is not being a teenager, right? Something like that, right? Yeah, I might have a teenager at home, so I know that. So being rebellious is part of being a teenager, right? Being obedient is not a teenager, so it's like something like that. So I got to learn the Chinese Chen Li again now. Is it Chen Li? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Alright. Yeah, I like Chen Li. Oh, I forgot to tell my students. One of my students wanted to come. My whole student who's married now said whenever I should have told her to come today. She's married to a German and a nice kid.
Married to German?
Yeah.
Is it around here? Already at that?
She's in Penang, yeah.
She's local here?
She's local, yeah. Forgot about that. All right. Let me finish this one. There's the data collection. Can you go to the data collection under? I think under this very.
Data analysis.
Okay, data analysis and not data collection. Data analysis. So use past tense here, basically, right? There, the interviews and field notes were analyzed. So a lot of past tense here. Past tense? Were is the past tense there. Right, okay.
Oh.
Right? Interviews were transcribed and used to create. So these are all basically past tense. Have you conducted the interviews yet?
No more.
Okay. Yeah, Frank, have you done it?
别人这么写的，我就跟着这么写。
哦，别人写的 ，OK。
参考的别人。
听到了。
OK，别人是不是 AI 啊？不是 AI。
Follow someone's style.
Okay. It's a sample, right? Okay. All right. Okay, that's good. Using the sample from others is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. Only thing is that when you write your first chapters, and especially when you present, right, you do not want to use past tense to present, right? You want to use a normal future tense, yeah, right. But I understand that you have made your proposal, right? So when you make your presentation again, you'll be in the past tense, right? Because you have done your research proposal, right? You completed that. So the next one is your research findings, so that will be past tense, right? So be aware that your tenses need to be the right tenses when you present. So you cannot jump the gun and say you have done it, you have not done it, right? So, I'm just reminding you. And then the last one, I think. Okay, yeah. Okay. Last one is about. You use the word application research. Application research is under, not this one, you got to go up further under adaptive research strategy. There, under adaptive research strategy. There, 3.2.9. Yeah, you have the word. What do you mean application research?
应用研究 practice research practice.
Maybe research application.
Opposite to theoretical, not only theoretical, but
applied research.
Apply
research.
Some research is about the using the ARS, but only four. But only four research papers using the ARS.
Using
ARS.
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 Oh, okay. So I think the word is applied research, not application research. Yeah, applied research. Did they use application research in the literature? They use the word application research or applied research, or you're not sure?
Apply.
Apply.
Oh.
Applied. Yeah. Because I may be wrong. I don't know.
Google
Is it better to use ChatGPT than Google? Use ChatGPT, right?
ChatGPT
and then you use another website to not to translate, to make ChatGPT doesn't look like ChatGPT. There's another website.
No, you can ask ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT yourself. Say you writing.
The position.
Yeah.
So make the article do not read as the AI.
AI.
Yeah, as a human.
But you can ask ChatGPT. You can ask ChatGPT, did you do this? They will tell you, we did it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's another website, or a few other websites, is to scramble ChatGPT.
Yeah.
They turn it into a different language.
But the fee is rising. The fee.
The fee is rising, but these are free websites. They are free websites too. Right.
他不卖了，真的。
Right. So my brother found out from my son. Well, my brother was telling me, right? And my mother's home, but I'm supervising my brother, right? He was telling, nowadays you don't have to do this, you use AI and all that. But then there's a problem with that. And then my son said, no, there's no problem. You go to this website, you can cover your AI. So my brother checked, yeah, it's true, you can do that. So my son is much more advanced than a lot of people. So there is a website to rewrite ChatGPT, so that ChatGPT cannot recognize that it is ChatGPT. Is that crazy or what? Right.
AI cheated another AI.
AI is cheating another AI. AI is cheating another AI. Right. But you can use another AI to cheat another, so it becomes a 3-layer AI, so it's hard to detect anymore, right? Okay. But there's a limit to deep think. You see, AI is based on big data, right? I argue that big data needs deep data. Deep data is where you guys, the scholars, come in.
Yeah.
We have like how many billion neurons in our mind, so we can go higher abstraction than AI. So AI can go to the current level of abstraction. We can go even higher. Yeah. So we say big data is important, good, but deep data is where we will win in the deep data fight, right? What I'm asking you all is to actually go into the deep data, which makes it PhD worthy, right? You can ask a question to ChatGPT: is this PhD worthy? Right? You can ask that question to ChatGPT, right? And see what was the response to ChatGPT. So
about this word or something like.
Huh?
About what? Ask him.
You put the research question and ask ChatGPT. Is this PhD worthy? Yeah. Right?
Yes.
And see how he responds.
Yeah.
So see, then they can come and discuss with me too. So there's a higher level.
Give him the research question, research title also, research problem, statement.
You can do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
True.
But don't debate 100%. Because sometimes stupid.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the word is applied research. If I'm wrong, correct me. But if this is coming from literature, then if the word is coming from literature, it is fine. And you got to just show it, explain it. Yeah. But I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with this word. Okay, I think you're on track now. You're on track. I think you're ready to proceed with the data collection. You have something solid here for the 3 chapters, right? With the inputs I'm giving to you. just to expand a bit on the policy part, right? Which actually you have there, you put it in your research objective. So, okay, you're ready. Congratulations, you have reached this level there.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You have reached this level, which is a good progress there. Okay, we are supposed to end by 5:30, should I say that? Okay, but Chimi hasn't presented yet.
Yep.
This is what I'm going to do. Right, I need to finish about this time right now. but I'll if you continue present, I will have another session tomorrow. But tomorrow is I'm scheduling Tandis and Muhammad because their candidature ends this semester. And this semester ends in 1 or 2 weeks time, I think. So
Start from the day before yesterday. The registration for the new semester.
Oh really?
Yeah, start.
Oh god.
Yeah. But up to
That's why
25.
you asked me to look and
Up to 25 March. So we have time, maybe 2 months almost.
Right. So we must help them because they've been the problem with what Muhammad and Tandis are facing is this: their research is based in the Philippines. The data collection is in the Philippines, right? And they were in the embassy. They were with the embassy or cultural attaché of the Iranian embassy in the Philippines. You know? So and then there's a US sanction coming in. So there's a US sanction, right? Unfortunately, Iran is not as rich as many other countries.
Yes.
Well, many other countries are not rich as Iran, but Iran is not that rich to allow a lot of things happening. So they have to close down the part where Muhammad and Tandis are working. Muhammad is working, so they have to go back, and their data is limited to what they have. So they did not. They have challenges on data collection. So and they went back, and then COVID happened. After that, COVID happened. So they cannot go back and collect data, just like Rajiv had the same problem. But a good thing about Rajiv has access to Indonesian migrants over here, which is quite a lot of them here, right? So I want to complete their. They have completed their draft, but I want to give some feedback to them tomorrow. So Chimin, you can make your presentation today, but I won't be able to give you in-depth feedback until tomorrow, right? So we'll meet again tomorrow. I will give more in-depth feedback to you. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right.
I think maybe,
Or you want to meet tomorrow?
maybe you are so tired. Maybe we can we can wait for tomorrow. It's okay.
Okay. Then let's have my our then tomorrow. But okay.
Tomorrow, okay.
How long is your presentation then?
Maybe after, maybe I can make some changes this night to make it shorter.
But it's okay. I have no problem about how long your presentation is. But if it's not too long, you can present now. Let me see the.
How many slides?
How many pages?
24. How many slides? 24.
Okay. 24 slides. Right. 24 slides. I think it's better to do it tomorrow then. Yeah, because it's better to do it tomorrow then. My concentration is higher, and lately after the COVID something happened to me too. So I do not work. See, I have two things that I'm a supernatural being right now. One is before the COVID, I have something called hyperthyroidism.
Oh yeah.
Hyperthyroidism is where my thyroid gland, right, is attacked by my own antibodies, by my own immunity. So what happened is they do not recognize my antibody, do not recognize my thyroid. They attack my thyroid. So remember, there was a period of my life that my weight went down zoom like that, right? I lost about 10 kgs.
Yeah, I remember that.
Whatever I eat, I sleep, I skip the next day, I lose weight. I eat, I sleep the next day, so
Lose weight.
right. Because hyperthyroidism, the thyroid sends so much hormone to my body.
Okay.
It keeps on burning. So my battery runs up very quickly. But I'm a higher anxiety level, you know, I'm like, so I can get angry fast too and all that, right? So after going through a diagnosis, found out it's my sister has hypothyroidism, which is the opposite, right? You get sleepy and all that. So the treatment for hypothyroidism, they give me pills, you know, they give me these pills there, right? I have to eat 6 pills a day, right?
6 pills a
6
day.
pills a day.
Okay.
And then they will adjust. So 6 pills will stop the attack.
Yes.
Stop the attack, right? Stop the attack, so the thyroid becomes slower and all that, right? So becomes slower and slower, right? So the opposite is happening. So I keep on become slower and slower too, right? My body metabolic rate goes down. I keep on putting weight, even though I eat the same amount of food, I keep on putting weight. I check, oh my God, this week 1 kilo. So my hormones is not working. So the doctor saw from 6, I went to 4, and the doctor said go up to 5 again, and go up to 4 again. They're trying to adjust the right. So, and then COVID came. Attack the COVID.
That's why.
So I don't know what's happening to my body because I remember when COVID attacked me first time, I get very sleepy. I get very sleepy. I can't even stop not sleeping. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I get very sleepy, drink coffee, exercise, and still sleep. Now I have 2 things with me, right? I think it's long COVID and this hypothyroidism at work. So I used to be much more able to stay alert, focused, and all that. Before I've done like 19 proposal presentations before. Raja was there. The Bengkulu.
Oh, not yet.
Huh?
Oh, online, the online one.
Some are online, some the Arif.
Oh, 2018.
2018. You're here not? Not here yet.
Not yet.
Okay, I remember. They started in the morning, I finished at 11 o'clock at night. Right.
Oh.
They came here, the Indonesians, 19 presentations.
So you have burden.
So I have what at that time I can do it. But I don't do deep supervision like I do with you all. There's a colloquium, but they wanted my feedback as I was giving read one, go one, read one, give feedback, go one, read one. So I don't know, up to 11 o'clock I remember that. So they would take turn, they go to Queen's Bay, come back, and then Bengkulu people. They went there at night to present, right? But I can do it. I might be tired, but I can still have a focus. But now my energy is like, I'm not sure, am I stronger? I'm not stronger now, am I sleepy? So this morning I was sleepy, and then I took coffee and I exercised first this morning to make sure my metabolic rate goes up first, right? But somehow there's some chemistry in my body that I'm not sure I understand well. So I'm not able to focus the way I can focus last time. Right? So yesterday, Hanif, you were there in the meeting, right? We had a 3-hour meeting. So I was like struggling to stay focused, and it's not easy to stay focused. I had a meeting, and I'm the lead researcher for that meeting. So I was struggling. So for 24 slides, I think it's better that I'm fresh. And I do that, right? Hopefully I'm fresh to do that. But my aim is, as I told you all, as much as possible, I want to complete as many of your supervision as possible, right? Before the 8th, which means by the 7th of next week. So Hanif is helping out to coordinate. So Hanif has come up with the principal bit. So first come, first serve. So there's one basic, one principle, guiding principle. I must close my eyes to focus now. And the urgency principle. The other principle, maybe you want to consider also Hanif, or all of you helping Hanif, because some of you are here, some of you are not here, right? So I definitely prefer the face-to-face supervision because I can like interact. You say I can interact with her.
Yes.
I can discuss with
More
her,
effective.
and then they say something I can know. I know it's more effective. Definitely more effective, like double or triple more effectiveness when it's face-to-face, right? So I do want. So that's the third principle, Hanifa. So you want to consider that also, but I want you all to be fair to Hanif and to your friends too, right? So there are people who actually, I think Kaila had some family issue. He went back home last time. He wanted to present, and it was like 3 months ago or something like that.
A long time.
Long time?
3 months, yes.
Something like that. I can't remember how many months. 3 months, 4 months, or something like that. So but you came back, then you went back home again. Or is it you? Who came back? Come back. I don't know who came back. Came and went back here. Came back here.
And he went and came back.
Came back.
Always go silently.
So that
Yeah.
disappear.
Just because higher by the national security, I have to do.
Oh, okay. So that's the thing. But I do want to complete as much as possible, right, so that you could all go through my face-to-face supervision, right? So and also Pak Rudi came. I know that you have 2 weeks here, so a day before yesterday managed to just set with you just a couple of minutes or just a few moments with you. So you want to consider that. All right. Okay, Chivin, are you okay with tomorrow? Yeah. Okay, we'll do it tomorrow.
Last question.
Go ahead.
Once you told us, the CPR tell us, not CPR. CPR. CPR told, we have to next month do the policy, our ethics, and in China, most of the policy not named as policy, named as regulation, requirements, and another things, another name.
All right.
So if that is okay.
That is okay, sir. So regulation, I know there are many levels of policy. Yeah, as I said, there are many levels.
There has many of institutions.
Many institutions.
Yeah, many institutions.
Yes.
The top one and another level. And the province level and
Even
some of the cities level.
Yeah, even the party.
Yes.
you will get your lunch.
The regulations are fine too.
You will get your
That's fine too.
Tomorrow.
Soon how? Okay. So tell us your story. What's happening with you? So you're in, out, in. What's happening with you? You're just visiting us.
Okay.
Visit. Oh, you're just visiting, traveling. Okay, welcome.
He sees you, he wants to see you.
We're the colleague.
Yeah.
We're the colleague.
Your colleagues. Oh, okay.
We're in the same, we work in the same school.
Same school, same university, is it?
Yeah, same university.
All right.
Same college. Same faculty.
Same faculty as well. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So you're just traveling. Leasing. Oh, okay. Just vacationing, right? All right.
Yeah.
还有看你，
看我
专门来看你。Just come here to see.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah. Let me see. Usually at the end of our supervision, we'll go out and have drinks or eat together. So, but I have a father's responsibility today, where I gotta fetch my son. He went for his archery competition. Who among you played archery last time with me? Mutali?
Hanif, Muhtadi, and Rajib.
Rajay. The rest of me never
Archery? Let's do it.
I really like archery.
Huh? We could.
谁是说这样？
I really like archery.
Archery.
Yeah.
好久以前，那次我还没去。
We can.
可能我面对太热了。
Can we do?
Yeah, I imagine myself with a movie, Troy movie.
It's good for relaxation. It's good for concentration. It's like meditation. So, yeah, come on, you guys listen. Go.
Just to
By the way, if you feel not comfortable,
And what time?
The white tea.
What time tomorrow?
it's really refreshing.
Presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morning.
It's just going to be some kind of detoxing.
Oh, okay.
White tea 是什么？
Really effective for your refreshing.
Okay. Andy, can you create the list?
No.
So tomorrow,
White tea. It's good for your throat.
bro. So I use your white tea plus landing 人子，人子。
人参。
哦，
人子是名家 right?
Give you ginseng, right?
Ginseng.
哦，人参。
人参。
Yeah, ginseng.
Okay.
And I have a gift for you. It's
Different tea.
I have
What's
for
it?
example,
By the way,
it's not tea. It's
you guys don't have to bring me gifts.
it's cup.
I'm okay with this, you know.
you
But
can put the 人参
Okay,
inside.
so-
Yeah, everywhere.
yeah.
It's made by
人参不能单独喝的吧？
Wow, this is nice.
对啊。
有人写了。
对啊，
I'm not sure if you have
直
seen
接
the
放
snow,
生的呀。
but I just print the snow.
Oh, thank you.
哇，
You don't want
就
this
直接放
some?
生，那就直接
You
放
are the
啊。
best.
Oh, thank you.
放前面。
Oh, wow.
It's made by porcelain. My hometown is 景德镇, so
Yeah.
it's famous for
For
Yeah.
China.
China. It's called China. The most famous.
China, of course. Yeah, China.
The China.
China. And it's called China, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, the porcelain is called China. Outside of China, it's called China.
Yeah.
The plates and the cups.
And James hometown were just favorites of the faster
The
China.
best porcelain.
Your hometown again?
景德镇. You can see here. 像古董.
Yeah, that's Asian.
In Asian, they were just going to be a little town. So it just called it
It's Asian word.
Yeah, it's just means town. But it already becoming a kind of
Near Zhejiang.
bigger than
Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, this is like,
Yeah.
it's too good for me to use now. It's like Lanbing, Lensen.
Yeah, 人参 put inside.
So decoration, you put it there, you can put it there. Right, it's too good to use.
It's good to your health.
It's good for my health, okay. Thank you so much, Jane. I appreciate that.
Actually, I have some kind of warning. You cannot just directly use the ginseng.
I cannot.
Yeah. You have to add stew with chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
for your health, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
South Korea.
I have to.
Not South Korea. It's a traditional Chinese medicine.
Okay,
It's
okay.
stolen by South Korea.
Yeah.
就是朝鲜族，
汉地也有的啦。
朝鲜族是吗？别争论了，别争论了。
Yeah. Oh, so you don't drink it like a tea?
Yeah, just because we do not drink it as you use it as a single ingredient. We have to use different kind of herbs to get comparable. And the traditional Chinese medicine or philosophy,
Yeah.
we use different herbs to make a combination.
I see.
And
Okay.
to make its function not too strong and not too weak.
Wow. Okay.
And just go
And then moderating.
It's okay.
If you feel hot,
Just very little and then water.
Very little, 你泡进去干什
须子
么？
可以，那个须子是很好。 You know the master of ranch.
Why you just a little cube in the ocean?
That is better than the body of the 人参. So you can use that to make tea.
So you put body full of
The little roots, right?
Yeah,
Little roots.
only if it's okay. But if you eat too much,
Chinese
well,
traditional
have more.
Eugene's Mother is a 师傅 of traditional Chinese